Hello, welcome back to another stream from Tachyon Lands. Today we're going to be looking at Fleet Combat, but Fleet Combat versus the Crisis. That's right, we're going to be looking at the endgame crises, all three of them, and to see how Fleet Combat now works against them. So, some of you may have watched some of our live stream multiplayer games we've got going, and this was our last big game. As you can see, this is my empire here, which takes up a rather large part of the galaxy. So we did pretty well. Here we've got the Unbidden. Here you can see this is 11.1 million fleet. There it is, 11.1 million fleet power. That's 22.5 times crisis. We started this game with 10 times crisis, which was the Prethoryn scourge, and they spawned up here and spread all around here, and we defeated them. Then we had the Contingency, which was 15 times crisis, and they had one machine well around here, another one over here, another one here, another one here, and we managed to kill all them. There was two in my space, one there, idiotic down here, and then there was another one up here. So we managed to wipe them all out, and now we've got the Unbidden. And we didn't actually manage to defeat these guys because by this point we'd had enough, I think. And so this was one of our final battles. So this is my fleet here. I've got ready to jump in to go into battle with the Unbidden. You can see I've got quite a large fleet. It's probably in the vicinity of 3 million fleet power, I think. I'll show you the ship designs I'm using. Now these ones are not optimal for the Unbidden because we just finished fighting a Contingency. The Unbidden spawned and didn't have time to refit my ships, and so we just went into what we had. I've mostly been fighting with battleships, cruisers. I've been using a combination of carrier battleships in pretty much the entire game since fighting the Scourge, which ended up getting the Swarm Strikers on here, but these were advanced strike craft. So I've just been using strike craft with a range of missiles. I've put in Cloud Lightning, one large slot there, because that's quite good against the Contingency, because they've got strong shields, strong armor, but weak hull. Quite good against the Unbidden. But against the Swarm, you want lots of fighters and flak and PD and armor piercing type weapons, because they've got no shields, lots of armor, and they have lots of missiles and strike craft as well. So as long as you counter that effectively. So I've got lots of carrier battleships. I've just found them quite effective. Been using the shield hardeners to help out, because a lot of the crises have shield penetration type weapons, disruptors. And battleships, this was optimized to fight the Contingency with the arc emitters and Cloud Lightning, once again to go straight through their shields and armor and hit their hull to try and kill them faster, to negate the big advantage they've got in shields and armor. So that's what these fleets were optimized for. So this was really good to get the kill those void spawn, to get the Cloud Lightning. They're very effective at fighting the crises, at least Contingency and Unbidden. You need these weapons to fight them, the Cloud Lightning. Arc emitters are great, but there's only one spinal mount in each battleship, whereas if you get the Cloud Lightning, it gives you multiple other weapons firing pretty much constantly to give you a lot more damage going through those shields, rather than trying to rely on other shield penetration weapons, which we don't have a lot in the large slots. If you look, the Cloud Lightning is pretty much the only shield penetration weapon you've got if you want to use them on a battleship. So, and I did go heavier shields as well. That was against, it was optimized for Contingency, having a bit more shields and armor. My cruiser, torpedo cruiser, these did have Devastator torpedoes on it, but then once they killed the Swarm, I swapped them to the large Scourge missile, because they have more damage than a Devastator, and well, not more damage output, but more average damage, because look at the fire rate, cooldown 5.7, so they constantly fire, plus they've got 3 times the range of a Devastator torpedo at 90. so your ships can start firing it further out and firing rapidly. And it's got 100% shield penetration, so less damage to armor, but you can also see the Scourge missile does multiplicative damage based on 50% of the target size. So they do about half the damage of a regular torpedo. If you have a look at a torpedo, you can see down the bottom it says that 100% damage of multiplicative damage. And it also does armor damage, the Devastator torpedo. So they are quite effective, but the range is just so short. Against the crises, when you're dealing with millions of fleet power, you do want to start firing as soon as you can, because trying to get to 30 range is very difficult. You lose so many ships. Unless you've got massive fleets like I've got now, I could probably get away with it, because the fleets are going to close in the range. I've just got so many numbers, but I prefer to start firing at a bit of range. So I've been using a lot of these cruiser torpedoes, torpedo cruisers that we've seen in our other videos. I've been using pretty much this throughout the game, because cruisers are cheaper to build, faster to build. Using torpedoes in combination with missiles just for those shield penetration, damage to hull, so they complement each other. And that with strike craft going in from the carrier battleships, plus then you've got the cloud lightning and arc emitters going through the shields. That's all. The fleet's all pretty complementary, going through shields, trying to hit the armor and the hull directly. And then I've also got the cruiser carriers. Oh no, they were the cruiser carriers. Okay, no, I must have changed the design. These I did used to have a carrier cruiser. Because I was fighting contingency, I changed them to cloud lightning for that extra shield and armor penetration from this. So I went with these guys and just chucked a couple of missiles in there to help out a bit. So, but I was using carriers cruisers for a lot of the game as well, particularly against the Scourge. So that was quite effective. You can see there I've got the shield hardeners in there as well. I can use more advanced weapons, but the problem, like I can put in dark matter deflectors, but the problem is when you're fighting these crises, you get so many ship losses and you're building ships constantly. You just don't have the dark matter to keep up with it. Like I've only got 22 there, and I could buy lots, but it's just a pain to try and micromanage that dark matter and keep your fleets building constantly. So I find it's just better just to do without it and just try and keep it design standard with at least exotic resources as possible and just churn out the numbers. I think in this game I did manage to get 3 mega shipyards, because I found a ruined one, I built one, and I think I captured one as well. So I've got 3 mega shipyards going. I think I got double matter decompressors, Dyson sphere, and all that type of stuff working. So let's see how this battle goes, hey? Let's jump in and see how much damage I can do. I do have my edicts on. Now, it'll be interesting to see, because we've got one fleet there. We've also got multiple unbidden fleets here that could join the fight very soon. This is their biggest fleet at 11.1 million. Here we go, we're going to warp in. Here we go, we're engaging them. All the Titan beams. Tachyon Lancers. Arc emitters, actually. Arc emitters, not Tachyon Lancers. Well, we've taken a couple million off them already. You can see all those strike craft coming in. Look at that, look at those arc emitters, cloud lightning firing, look at this. Okay, let's pause this. Let's have a look at the damage output we've got going on. Look at the large matter disintegrators. Hang on, let's see if we can get our weapons. Large matter disintegrators. Damage to hull. So are we not damaged their hull? Oh, okay, there it is. They've got ours there. Focused arc emitters. Cloud lightning. I don't know, the stats must be off, because like we've killed a couple million of their fleet and they're saying we've only done that amount of damage. That doesn't make sense. wiped half their fleet. They've done very, very well. See if this is updated. Okay, looks like it's updated a bit better now. The scourge missiles, you can see there, they're doing a lot of damage to the hull. Focused arc emitters, the swarm strikers, so the strike craft going in there. Then you've got cloud lightning, whirlwind missiles, marauder missiles. So they're all doing pretty effective there at doing a lot of damage to the hull. You can see how effective the missiles are there from those torpedo cruisers. So you can imagine devastator torpedoes. Now that we are closed range, our cruisers are in there doing the damage. Where are our cruisers? Cruisers. So you can see all our cruisers are closed range, and they're doing the fleets with the cruisers are doing a lot of damage. Whereas the ones with just the battleships tend to be hanging back a bit. Yep. The size of this battle, how the ships all spread out. There you go. Just effectively wiped 11.1 million fleet out with not too much trouble at all. Where's that 4 million fleet? Is he coming in? He is. You've got another fleet there, another fleet. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4 million fleets there. Another 13 million fleet power. They can see, yeah, I did a lot of damage there, but my losses, like, look at this. I've lost, you know, lots of ships, lots of cruisers. I can replace that pretty quickly, but still, like, look, 20 cruisers, 19 cruisers, 21 cruisers. So the cruisers did a lot of damage, but they take a lot of hits as well. Look, 21 cruisers, so I've lost a lot of ships. Even though I had the massive firepower, they just do so much damage, those ships. The Unbidden, fighting a fleet like that. It says they only lost one ship, but their whole fleet got wiped. So we can see the damage output there again. Scourge missiles, focused arc emitters, swarm strikers, yeah. It's good because the Unbidden have no armor, so it's just massive amounts of shields, energy. So that's why going straight through shields to the hull is very effective against the Unbidden. Perdition beam, not doing too much there. Alright, so we've seen that. We might see if we can take out this next fleet. Up. Yeah, they're all going to group up. Lag. Computer trying to process it all. In the actual game, I think I took on about another 3-4 million fleets. Once I killed this fleet, they all started beelining for me. He's not moving yet. Yeah, this one's coming in to jump me. Alright. Here he comes. See how my fleet does this time. So there's missiles, strike craft flying in. Look at all the strike craft. Look at them all blot out in the sky. Okay, so it's another 4 million plus fleet taken out. But you can see my ship losses are mounting. Yeah, pretty much wiped all my cruisers, I think. Damage output again. Well, this time the focused arc emitters did the best. They did more than the swarm strikers, probably because the fight wasn't as long. So by the time all the strike craft got there, the fleet was heavily damaged already. Giga cannons getting in a bit of damage, not too much. So it's mostly these guys damaged the hull, doing the damage there. Okay. And here comes more fleets. You can just see how they'll just keep coming and coming, and you know, I'd have to retreat and rebuild at this point. I think he's coming in to try and finish me off. Oh, let's see if he can finish me off. Probably will. Oh yeah, this is where, it's where I get hit by multiple fleets. Still doing alright, but we're taking horrendous losses now. Now our firepower split between two fleets.
A fleet has been bravely defeated.
Yeah, I think this is where they crush me.
A fleet has been bravely defeated.
Yeah, all my admirals are dying. Yeah, there goes all my fleet. That's why it's important to go back to port, repair, and get your numbers back up, so you don't lose all your admirals and fleets. This is just a demonstration. Still, they did pretty good. Look at these dead ships. Millions of lives, probably. Alright, so we've seen the large fleet engagement versus Unbidden. Okay, this time we are up against the Contingency, which was a little bit earlier in our game. There was a couple of machine worlds. One was over, I think one was over, yeah, over here. I think it was here. And another one was up here. We managed to kill those two. There's another machine world here, and I think there's another one up here. Yeah, 6.7 million. They got defending fleets. You can see here 6.7 million. Then they've got their AI core, but then they've also got a station as well. You can see the armor 850,000, shields 850,000, then hull. And you can see here the hull points on that, and the military power. It's quite significant. So we're up against well over 7 million there, 7 million fleet power. And my ship designs are probably not too much different from the ones I showed previously. I think they're pretty much the same. Yeah, Cloud Lightning. Yeah, you got the swarm of missiles. Carrier battleships there. Yeah, it's the same because I didn't get a chance to change the weapon loadout. So let's see how our fleet goes against this.
A study has been completed. A hostile station has been engaged.
I like it, that Titan beams. It all looks like one massive beam, but it's multiple firing. You can see the strike craft going in. Oh, the colours, fantastic. Look at this. Look, my strike craft blot out the sun. Crazy.
fleet has been gravely
Oh look,
defeated.
look, looks like we've lost this one.
A fleet has
Yeah,
been
we got
gravely
crushed.
defeated.
We
A
got
fleet
beaten.
has been gravely defeated.
Yeah, I think it took our combined fleets to beat this. So their stations and their fleets are just so powerful. You think like my whole fleet there just only got yeah, a million and a bit off this. So their station went down, destroyed their station. Didn't really get through that either. So you can see, yeah, my whole fleet was pretty much wiped.
Inbound communicate.
You can see how strong they are. The contingency, I think this is the contingency, the one that gives the most problem. We were fighting them for quite a while. Just the horrendous losses we took. I can see there just a massive amount of losses. Had edicts on, running all the edicts. Still not enough, but I think what I ended up doing with this build, because yeah, it was being quite a problem trying to take them out, is I ended up building lots and lots of this battleship, just going massive amounts. I just built fleet after fleet with lots of archimeters and cloud lightning just to pulverize those fleets, because the cruisers and the carriers, while they were effective, you can probably see in the stats here. Let's have a look. Yeah, you can see my wiped out to a ship. So let's look at the damage output here. Yeah, see the focused archimeters and the cloud lightning are doing the most damage. You can see the archimeters by a big margin are doing the damage. So that's why I went for, I think it was after this battle actually, I just went for mass battleships with archimeters and the cloud lightning, because they were doing the most damage and the most efficient, rather than rebuilding lots of cruisers with the or the carrier battleships rather, because the cruisers were doing alright as well. They were firing off their cloud lightning and scourge missiles. You can see the scourge missiles there quite effective as well. Whirlwind missiles, swarmer missiles against the armor, so that was pretty good. Yeah, so more battleships with lots of focused archimeters and cloud lightning if you can get it. One thing to remember in your game, if you are going to be fighting all the crises, early on in the game, plan how you're going to get the void spawn. You need to kill a void spawn somewhere in order to get the cloud lightning. Or you need to find someone who's got cloud lightning, go to war with them and get their debris, so you can get that, because it is really, really important for fighting the crises. You're gonna need it. It'll make your life so much easier. You can see here, look at the damage output compared to everything else. So you're gonna need it. Alright, so you saw my fleet got wiped there by the contingency, because they're pretty tough to fight the contingency with their strong armor and shields. I actually find the contingency, I think the contingency, in my opinion, is harder than the Unbidden, because you just saw in the previous battle pretty much the same fleet, nearly the same fleet size, a little bit smaller, wiped 11.1 million from the Unbidden. So this fleet was pretty much perfectly tailored to beat the Unbidden, probably not tailored as much to beat the contingency. So you can see there the difference, and that was the Unbidden was much stronger in terms of firepower, but they don't have the armor to get through, so you need to be able to get through that armor. I've got lots of weapons to get through the shield, but maybe I'll probably need some more armor penetration weapons in my fleet design. We could probably put some more, because your cloud lightning goes through it, your archimeters go through it, but it's probably not enough. You know, you could probably add in, maybe you could put in some lasers here and plasma rather than missiles. Same on your cruisers. We could maybe put in your plasmas, because they do heaps of hull damage, armor damage. But the only problem is we're not actually hammering the shields down. So this is where using plasmas comes a problem that's minus 75% shield damage. We're going through the shields. We're not taking the shields down, so they actually won't be that effective. Neither will lasers. They won't be very effective. You can maybe do disruptors because they go straight through the shields and damage the armor. That'll be probably the complementary weapon to use. I guess with using cloud lightning and arc emitters, putting heaps of them on your ships so they can go through and attack the hull directly. Alright, so you've seen that. So remember to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you are liking these videos. And if you do have any questions, send them through to me. Let's see if I can find the scourge now. So in this earlier part of the game, you can see here's the Prethoryn scourge, pretty much spawned close to my side of the empire. So we had the Prethoryn scourge spawn here, and then afterwards the Contingency had a machine world spawn here and one over here. So there was a lot of crisis wars being fought in this part of the galaxy. So and the scourge were they spread quickly, but their fights weren't too hard to contain. We were pretty well prepared for it. This was a 10 times crisis. So my fleet designed at this stage going more plasma and PD strike craft. So you can see there got cruiser, carrier. So I went for plasma because the Unbidden have not the Unbidden, the Scourge have lots of armor on their ships, no shields. No point having shield weapons. You see here going all plasma. You know, I could go maybe laser. Maybe laser's more effective because it's faster, better tracking. I just made plasma. Battleships, same thing. Tachyon lancers that armor damage and plasma weapons. Same with the carriers. We equipped them for plasma and got the strike craft as well. They're pretty much all anti-armor weapons. You can probably some people like the gauze cannons, but against the scourge they're not very good. Or the auto cannons, but yeah, the kinetic weapons just are not good against the scourge. You want to be going with laser type weapons. You could argue you could go for the disruptors as well. Shield penetration, armor penetration is pretty good because you don't have to get through the armor then. So I've got a fleet of ships here. There's a smaller scourge fleet there. That's just their Vanguard, one of their first fleets, which spread out. You've got their larger fleets behind there at nearly 1.5k. They've got one up there, another smaller fleet. So the Prethorians, the main problem is they get so many fleets and they spread quickly and they keep coming. And that's why they spread out so quickly. And my problem here is because they were right on my empire, they were spreading around this way, taking planets, and then spreading around this way, taking planets, and spreading up here. So my fleets would go up here, fight a fleet, then have to go back, repair numbers. While I was doing that, they'd spread up here and push through here, so then I'd have to go there, and I was just bouncing between the two fronts until I could get enough firepower with my friends to, drive them back. So it took a little while. The Scourge was just a bit frustrating because we were comfortably beating their fleets, but their numbers were just numbers of fleets were the problem all over the place. So let's jump in here and see what happens. Probably not the best idea jumping in at close range, but I prefer to fight from when I'm across the system to give my strike craft time to get across.
A belligerent fleet.
And this is only a little fleet, so you can see how quick we're taking it down there. Boom, it's gone. And Tachyon lancers, bang. Large plasmas, they did quite good. Tachyon lancers. Okay, now where's this bigger fleet? It's over here. Coming in, so we can probably let's go to this system. Oh, he's using a hyper lane, isn't he? Is he using a hyper lane? He is. So we pretty much jump on top of each other. You know what, let's go to there. The only problem with hyper lanes, you gotta be careful where I've been caught a few times is if I go for that hyper lane, I'd end up here, this hyper lane. He's coming through that hyper lane and he'd end up there, so we'd be on top of each other, and that's not good. You don't want to be on top of him. Oh, he's running away.
A study has been completed. A hostile station has been engaged.
Those beams firing, boom. That's probably the biggest thing to remember. You don't want to jump on top of these guys, and you got to watch the hyper relays, because if I went the hyper relay to come through here, my fleet would go to that hyper relay and he'd either come through and jump on top of me, or I'd go through there and jump right on top of him. That's the only problem with a hyper relay network. You've got to really watch where your fleets are going to come out.
A study has been completed.
Because if I jump on top of him, even though I've easily beat him probably in a normal battle, he just take horrendous losses, and it takes forever to rebuild. I had a couple of wipes because of that. Oh, he's where's he going? He's going to come through here. Okay. Doesn't make much difference, buddy. Here he comes. Just slow this down a little bit so you can see the strike craft going in. Now the plasmas are coming in. Look at the strike craft. Oof.
A spaceport is descending.
Let's just look at that damage. You can see, look at that pause at strike craft. This is why carriers are so effective. Look at that. It's crazy. You've got your tachyon launchers, large plasma, advanced strike craft. Plasmas, advanced strike craft again, tachyon lancers. So you can see how effective tachyon lancers are against the Prethoryn. And plasmas are doing quite good. Large plasmas. Very efficient.
A spaceport has been lost to the other side.
So we're comfortably beating him here. I think this was close to where we did a big push and pretty much drove them back, and you can see here, see now they've got double fleets down here hitting me, and this is where it gets hard, because now they've got 2.1 million down there, and I've just fought up here, so now I've got to go probably repair before I engage him, and they've got another fleet there, another fleet there, another fleet there. You've got two down here. So, and this is all pretty much right around my territory, so it's hard. And he invades planets and destroys orbital rings and destroys your stations and affects your fleet cap, and yeah, it's a bit of a pain. At least the AI's got fleets in there, they're fighting a little bit. Yeah. So if you like this video, hit that like button. We are playing regular multiplayer games most evenings. You'll see them in the live section of my video. We also talk about it in our Discord channel, and I post messages on the comment board, the community section. So yeah, so if you're enjoying these videos, or if you do want to participate in any multiplayer games, let me know, because we do play most evenings quite regularly. Alright, thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.